Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm Clare Cooley, author, artist. In these live streams, we're going to be talking about how to find something that inspires you to create art, book, any kind of creation, and then how to promote it yourself or get help promoting it. So I want to thank you and the Minnesota State Arts Board and the National Endowment for the Arts for awarding me grants to do these live streams. This is the third in a series of 15 I'm doing every Monday and Thursday at 11 Central Time, 11 a.m. And you can see them anytime after, share them with your friends, and I really appreciate that. On my YouTube channel, The Creativity Show. So after the live streams, you can access them there and watch them anytime. Send the link to friends. I really appreciate it if people do share with their friends. I'm all about the organic organizing, promoting of one friend tells another. I originally wrote my memoir, Incandescence, Rising Above Darkness, because it is very, very heartwarming, gratifying for me to have used the difficulty I've been through in my life as a way to not only grow and deepen and strengthen myself by healing them through creative expression, but the many people that have told me my stories help them, so they would help other people. So I wrote them, and my memoir, Incandescence, Rising Above Darkness, has more than 52 stories and more than 60 pieces of my art. You can get it either ebook or print, color, or black and white, because there's 40 photographs from my multimedia arts career and over 60 pieces of art. I suggest the color version is worth a couple more dollars. And so that is an example of finding something you're inspired, passionate about, to turn into something that can not only gratify you that you did it, but can offer you tremendous fulfillment by using it to help others. I talked about this in the last live stream, but the very first time I was published was my art on the cover of a poetry book. A poet asked if they could use my art, Cyrus Crane's Mating Dance. My second book, published by a big publisher out in California, Pomegranate Art Books, was because I've always loved every aspect of nature, but I have a special affinity to birds, for birds, and I was fascinated by the 15 different species of cranes, and when I couldn't find good photographs or art of all 15 species, when I was living in San Francisco years ago, I went to the International Crane Foundation when the director invited me and allowed me to observe the cranes from within their enclosures. I painted the 15 species. A friend who was a big design firm in San Francisco won an award from MoMA in New York, and she asked me to work with her on designing a product. So we came up with a prototype of my art of the 15 species of cranes. I showed it to the publisher, and he said he wanted to do it, and what he suggested I write it, and that began my published writing. I did not think of myself as a writer, but I took the leap of faith. Other people can point out our direction in life if we listen and we face our fears and doubts and go for it, and let other people tell us what we have that moves them, is of value to others. Wonderful things can happen. We don't have to figure it all out on our own. In fact, we do art for ourselves, let's admit it. It makes us happy, it's fulfilling, it's interesting, it's inspirational, following our curiosity, continuing to learn and expand, but offering it to the world and having other people moved by it is a whole nother level of satisfaction and fulfillment that can come from it. I like to think of it as we do our art for ourselves, but it is not complete until we share it. So as Catalyst did a little highlight of an artist thing they do, content creator spotlight, I think they call it. They quoted me when I said, do what you love and give it to the world. And that is living the dream, making our dreams into our reality, making our imaginations tangible and shareable. I don't know of anything that equals that except for love. It's a form of love. So that's what we're gonna be hoping to inspire, inform, empower you to do. Find what you love and give it to the world. So today's live stream is the first category of the 6 different categories for self-promotion that we're going to go through are, let me get my notes because I don't want to leave anything out. So the first category we're going to get into some detail today is social media. And the second category next live stream, which is Thursday at 11 a.m., is search engine optimization. And then next Monday will be content creation. And then next Thursday, press. And then following Monday, events. And then that next Thursday, personal contacts. So today's discussion is about social media. And there are many kinds of social media platforms. We all know that there's just a lot. So you have to make your own decisions about where you want to focus your time and energy. It's a resource that is not unlimited, so it is good to think it out and make choices and then stick with it and see what can happen. So the social platforms that we'll touch on is YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter or X, Snapchat, Discord, Patreon, WhatsApp, and Messenger apps. Each platform has its own ways to promote. We have chosen Facebook is where I have the most connections. I've chosen not to make my life chaotic. I love peace and serenity and balance. And so I focus my energy on Facebook that I've been on. I started on Facebook and I have my largest amount of friends and connections on Facebook. So that's where we've chosen to put our attention for promoting my work. And we also use YouTube because, as you probably know, unless you're new, my son, Bodhi, the movie maker, his YouTube channel, asked me years ago to collaborate with him, and I was delighted. And we're very different kinds of creatives. He's very technically interested and facile, and I'm very hands-on and multimedia. So when I said yes, he named us Mother Son Productions. So I'm very grateful we get to work together, and it's a big lot of different areas that our two aesthetics and sensibilities and curiosities cover. So he's going to talk later about the technical side of this promotional effort we're talking about. So each platform has its own ways. Facebook, which I've said is where we're focusing energy to promote my work. Because we can create a group there and invite people to join the group, we can create a page and invite people to like it. We can create an event and invite people to RSVP, like these live streams. We also put the live streams up on YouTube so that we can reach that audience. Some people pay to boost their specific posts to increase their reach, and you can choose a target audience and set a budget. So far, I'm very heartened by organic promotion, meaning one friend tells another. People ask me to write my book saying it helped them and it'll help others. So I feel really good about people telling their friends, telling others that the work could help, not just the stories, but the attitudes that I have, used my whole life in order to find peace in chaos. My difficult upbringing, I found creative reverie as a place to restore myself, and creative expression as a way to heal myself. So I love sharing that with people. So I love it when people tell others. So help me help others by telling your friends and associates. So one of the things we have learned through doing, and we're just learning by doing, we definitely don't know it all. And we love when other people help us and tell us things we didn't know before. Like we have a friend who said, well, put up affiliate links. And because I've been doing these stencil videos, here's an example of using stencils, which I've done recently. And in fact, our first promotional video and our first SVG, scalable vector image, which is a stencil you can buy, will go up either later today or tomorrow. So we're celebrating turning this art. I love to do, I'm inspired by nature. I love to distill and refine and make as elegantly simple designs as possible. So that works really beautifully for stencils. So I'm making my stencil designs into these sellable, very humble cost purchases. One at a time will come out, and the video to show the different things you can do with it. Oh, here's a friend dropped off this t-shirt she got at a used store. So I made a gift for her, which was recently. So Sue, that's for you. And I made tote bags and note cards and this outfit and the outfit I made last week that then I added a scarf to. So there's so many uses for stencils. So I love turning my art into stencil designs that you can use. Oh, there's a picture Bodhi put up, I see on the laptop of different things that I've done with that one design. When you buy the stencil, you can make it small, medium, large, any size you want. And when you print it out and you have your Cricut cutter cut it, or cut it with a razor blade, or a hot knife. I've also made videos. We've made videos about the different ways you can cut stencils. So we'll leave that there for now and go back to the promoting on social media. The more views, likes, comments, responses your posts get, the more likely Facebook, Meta will monetize you. When Facebook decides you are eligible, they invite you to sign up for their monetization opportunities. There's bonuses that keep changing about every 6 months. There's ads on Reels. There's stars and gifts your fans can give you. There's ads on longer videos, and there's subscriptions your audience can give you to support you, your efforts, your work on a monthly basis. So those are some of the ways we've discovered thus far. And like I said, then the affiliate links, if people watch the videos and then go to your affiliate link and purchase something, the stencil brushes, the paints, whatever, Bodhi's, it's technology because he built his own PC and blah, blah. So if people go to those links and then purchase something, we get a little commission. So that's another monetization I didn't know about till a friend told us. So we're all a work in progress. We're all, growing as we go. We're learning along the way. So we love it when people point things out to us. I am smart enough to know how little I know, and I'm wise enough to listen to others. I will give myself credit for those two things, and to learn from others and to hear what they think I should do. And if enough people say it, like in my 20s, 9 people in one day, you should teach dance, you should teach multimedia creativity. I did it because I didn't think I had anything to teach, since I'd never had a class and gone to school and had no degrees. But they did, and I thought 9 different people who didn't hear each other say that, they know something I don't. So I learned to be a student by teaching. I learned to teach by doing it, and I love doing it as much as creating my own art is joyous. Helping others find things that they love to create and ways to share it is very joyous for me. So that's what these live streams are about. There will be written and video blogs on all that I'm covering in these 15 live streams. So that will come soon. And at this point, I'd like to invite Bodhi to talk about the vertical video reels that he, being movie maker, Mr. Technically Facile, helps me put up on Facebook.
Great. Yeah, so can you hear me out there?
A little bit, not too much.
Let's see. How are you guys hearing me out in the world? Let me check on my phone here real quick. See where my Oh yeah, we're doing good. So it's just the laptop's not very loud for my mother out there. So vertical videos. Just to clarify, most of us at home when we're watching Netflix and such, we're watching on our computer or our TV, which is, a landscape aspect ratio. It's a horizontal screen. Would you like me to? Yeah, I'm going to let her have a break there. So vertical videos are portrait. And the reason being is most of us observe social media on our phones, which are vertical. Anyways, all of the different platforms have vertical video options. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. Some of them are exclusively vertical, like TikTok or Snapchat. So what we did was we were originally making horizontal videos for YouTube and Facebook, and then we decided we might as well start re-editing those videos into vertical videos so that we can reach the audiences that only watch vertical videos. Because on every platform, people use every platform differently. No two people use Facebook the same way. Some people watch a lot of vertical videos. Some people only use Facebook to, comment on their family's photos. Some people only use Facebook to, message other people. So the same is said for how people consume video content. And let's say you make a video on YouTube and it's horizontal, and then you cut that video up into smaller bite-sized videos and you make those vertical and you post those to YouTube, there's a chance that the people who watch your vertical videos will be a completely different audience than the people who watch your horizontal videos, because they distribute them differently and to different people. So it's a way of extending your reach. If you already make horizontal videos, I would suggest you try making some vertical videos and posting them. You'll probably get new followers, new subscribers, reach new people you never did before. So on Facebook, vertical videos are called Reels, which just means a vertical aspect ratio video that's 60 seconds or less. They also are called Reels on Instagram. On YouTube, they're called Shorts. On TikTok, they're called TikToks. Blah, blah, blah. So everybody has their own name for short form vertical content. That's what we call it in the industry. It doesn't roll off the tongue very easily. But how we make them is we shoot for creating videos which are 58 seconds or less, and that is because YouTube will take the length of your video and round it up a second or two. So if you make a video that is exactly 60 seconds long, YouTube might decide that it's too long to fit in its shorts category. And then you will not be sent out to that big audience of people who watch vertical short form content. I'm going to bring her back just in case she has any questions. You can just, if you don't, you can just chillax. Raise your hand because I had to mute you because I'm getting some audio feedback. So other than that, let's talk about, oops, sorry, I made her disappear again. So another great thing for short form videos is to know that they repeat. So automatically when somebody watches a full short form video, it will just start over. So a great technique is to script your short form videos so that they end and seamlessly transition back into the beginning. One way you can do that is to end your short form videos with a statement like, I'm going to show you how to, and then at the beginning of your video you say, make short form videos. And then throughout your video you explain how to make short form videos. And so by the end of the video, that last line feeds into the first line and you get in this cyclical loop, and it makes it easier to watch over and over again. Let's see, do you have any questions, Mom? I can keep talking about different, how specifically we make our short form videos. For us, we start with long form videos that we make, like for the Creativity Show. She makes videos like how to stencil on fabric and clothes. And that's maybe a 9-minute horizontal video. And again, keep in mind, short form vertical videos have to be a minute or less. So then we go into that video we already created and we cut out 1 minute or less chunks to then re-edit into vertical videos. And because you're taking a horizontal video and you're re-editing it into a vertical, you have to go in and zoom in on the specific things you want to show. You have to reframe, and you want to just cut down to the most juicy bits.
Bo, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't see you anymore on the laptop.
Oh.
Or
Okay.
me.
Well, that must be something with your laptop. I'll come fix that for her. But we can all hear you and see you, so go ahead and talk, and I'll come fix that.
All right, well, I'm not sure technically what people are seeing or hearing. Do you think they're hearing me?
Yes.
There we are. Okay, well, I'm gonna,
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just moved over. But yeah, you've been there the whole time.
okay, I'm going to read a couple quotes from Albert Einstein and George O'Keeffe, and then maybe you could ask some of these questions that people have sent in.
Okay.
So first, let's start with Albert Einstein. Art is the expression of the profoundest thoughts in the simplest way. I love that. George O'Keeffe. I decided to start anew, to strip away what I had been taught, to accept as true my own thinking. It is very reassuring to me to hear these profound thinkers, these luminaries, ruminating on creativity and how for each of us, everybody wants to be more creative, I've heard my whole life. And so I asked myself, why aren't more people creating past childhood? And it's the doubt, the critical voice, the fear of not making money, the fear of not being respected because what you do doesn't necessarily make money. Art is what we do for love. And we are very fortunate if we also make some income from it, but that is not why, that's not the reason to do art and creative expression. And we need to remind ourselves of that. I've done many things in my life to pay the bills. I am fortunate now at this mature age to be able to make enough in my humble expenses life to support myself from my artistic endeavors. My mother was a highly trained artist who did not get to do that, but worked in a factory with asthma to support 4 kids by herself. So I'm always grateful that I get to do my art, and I'm very gratified that my son and I have teamed up and we get to help each other, be each other's advocates to fulfill our dreams and ambitions. And if you don't have someone in your family, find a friend, make a connection that has your best interest at heart, and open up to them being your champion of your fulfillment, your inspiration, your curiosity. That's the stuff that keeps us happy and healthy throughout our lives. And if you have to do something else for money, that's okay. I've had times in my life, I've spoken of this before, where I literally only had 5 minutes a day for my art, but I kept doing it because that made me believe that someday, little by little, my dream of being a full-time artist, being able to put as much time and energy into my artistic expression I was moving toward it instead of letting that dream fade away. So here's another Albert Einstein quote: "Art is standing with one hand extended into the universe and one hand extended into the world, and letting ourselves be a conduit for passing energy." Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't matter what our spiritual belief system is. What matters in this life is how we act. And if there is a god or goddess or gods or divine energy in the universe that no one can prove does or doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. What matters is how we treat each other, ourselves, the environment, all creatures, all life, all resources. That's what matters. And if there is a god or goddess or many gods, they certainly would be supportive of us treating each other, ourselves, and the world with kindness and respect. I cannot believe that if God exists, that God would be saying this spiritual belief system is right and that one is wrong. How could a God, being a God, take sides like that? So we need to rise up and to our luminous potentials, because we have consciousness, and be on everyone's side, be on the planet's side. So that's part of the reason I call myself a born-again artist. Creative expression gave me a safe place and a place to heal, and that's what I want to share with the world. It's ecological to use our creativity as much as possible and consume as little as possible, and look around us for what we have to use. All these used clothing that I've been given or collected for years that I'm now repurposing into expressions of art, as gifts or as inspiration to help others. The stories, some of the hardest stuff I've been through, I've repurposed into hopefully rising above my own darkness as an example for others to rise above theirs. So believe in yourself and believe in goodness and do what you love and give it to the world. Okay, Bo, I'm ready for some questions.
All right, and some questions are ready for you. Jeff asked, how do you pick what to write about?
It's very hard for me to hear you, but I think you said, how do you pick what to write about?
Yes.
What moves me, what I'm curious about, what's helped me. For my memoir, people said, my stories helped them. So I thought, well, what are the things I've been through, hard or easy, joyous or traumatic, that have helped me grow and strengthen, find some meaning, wisdom, some impetus to encourage me. So I write about what moves me. If it moves me, I'm just a human being like everybody else, made up of all the same parts as everybody is. So if it moves me, I trust there will be others it moves. So I have to be moved, curious, inspired, whether it's poetry, my one-liners, collection, whether it's my stories. It has to move me and make me curious for me to believe that it will do the same for others.
Great. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Perfect. Kathy asked, how do you deal with the notion of the voice inside your head asking, will other people like this? ? And do you ever know if other people will like it?
Well, how do you know if other people will like it? Even if you do it, share it. Sometimes people are false and they'll say they like it. To be nice, we've been taught, especially as women, to be nice. And so even if they say they like it, maybe they didn't actually. So the only way that we can really deal with that self-doubt, will other people like it, is to, as Georgia said, Georgia O'Keeffe, to accept as true my own thinking. Value yourself, trust yourself. Do you like it? Are you moved by it? Does it inspire you? Does it inform you of something that's helped you get through the difficulties of life? And we're all just human beings. I don't put people on pedestals. I don't see stars and famous people as anything other than people. We're all just people. And so if I feel it, someone else will feel it. And trust that, know that. We're not better than, we're not worse than, we're not more than, we're not less than anyone else. So if we feel it, if we're moved, know that the rest of the world, there will be people that will be moved, that will feel it. And trusting that is our challenge as people, especially as creatives.
Fantastic. Josie asked, how do you know when you need help? I find I can get lost working in my own bubble.
Well, I start from the premise that I always need help. We always need help. And finding I was blessed and challenged in the family I was born into, a dangerously brilliant father and a kind, the smartest person I ever met actually was my mother, who could converse with anyone about anything, because she spent her sickly childhood separated from her family, living with her single aunt in Boston. She spent her childhood reading. So she was brilliant, but she was so humble, and she was such a gentle person. I didn't know until I heard her talking to a physicist, and anybody she talked to, she could have an interesting conversation with, because she spent so much time learning. So I was blessed to have her as a mother, and even my father, a wrathful blessing. And her perspective, even his perspective of always criticizing everyone else because of his own unhealed wounds, that was help for me, and some of it painful, some of it joyous. But I knew from the very beginning that we all need help. We need to be able to see our own reflection by looking in the calm eyes of another. And otherwise, we're just out speaking into the void, and we don't even get to hear ourselves. So I start from the premise that I always need help. I always need a true, calm reflection of what I'm creating, painting, writing, dancing. And sometimes when I'm most confused, I ask a child, because they don't, young people have not learned yet how to be deceitful. So if they don't feel it, they'll like, whoa. And if they can feel it, they'll say something honest. So find honest people, whether they're children, whether they're sometimes there are people that may be limited in one way, but they've maintained innocence and authenticity, and they're great reflectors. Or find people that have no hidden agenda. The only thing they want is for you to grow and be happy and healthy, and ask them for help often, and as much as you feel you need to, and realize that that's a beautiful thing. You're giving them a gift as well as asking for something. Let other people help you. Let other people get that joy of that fulfillment that comes from being there for someone else.
Fantastic. And Frank asks, I have writing doubts every time I decide to put pen to paper. Do you have doubts while you're writing? And if so, how do you keep going even when you have doubts?
Being human means we doubt. That is part of it. We doubt we're good enough. We doubt that what we write will communicate what we're hoping to communicate, that it will have value for others. Are we going in the right direction? Doubt is part of being able to, is part of consciousness. But also part of consciousness is we get to choose what we do with our time in our life. So I decided a long time ago that if I had any time for creative expression, writing, painting, whatever it was, that it was selfish and arrogant and spoiled, quite frankly, for me to sit there and doubt myself. Much of the world is just trying to feed themselves or their children. If I have any time to create, let me appreciate, be grateful for that time I have by creating something. And if it turns out that it's like dancers do 10,000 pliés before they get on the stage, if the writing is on the way to something worth sharing with others, it's still valid. I love this story I heard that there was a wealthy person that hired a Sumi brushstroke painter to do a painting for him, and he kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and then finally he showed up at the painter's abode and said, you know, where's my painting? And I've been waiting so long. And the painter sat down, mixed his Sumi ink in his scissori and did the painting and handed it to him. And he said, why have I been waiting so long for something that just took you a few seconds? And the painter opened the closet and thousands of sheets of practice papers came out of the closet on the way to doing that quickly. So whether we're writing, painting, dancing, making music, there's stepping into the flow, practice, exercise that's part of the process. So that's a long way of saying it doesn't matter what we sit down to write as long as we use the time to write something. Even if it's just describing your doubt, it will, whatever we practice, we get better at. So don't stare at the empty canvas or the blank screen. Write something and you'll get better.
Kathy wrote, I have a follow-up question. How much time do you spend writing each day?
I'll answer that in a circuitous way, which I often do with my answers in my life. When I first fell in love with drawing, on the 9th day of drawing, because I was visiting my sister in a place that had smog, I couldn't get my physical creative expression that I was used to. So I sat quietly and drew so I didn't have to deep breathe the smog. And on the 9th day, this gorilla looked back at me, and I fell in love with drawing and realized that I was going to do visual art for the rest of my life. So I drew every single day for 5 years after that. And I often make a choice of a project I'm doing, and then I work every day unless my body really needs a day off, and I give it to, my health to stay balanced. But now, by this point in my life, I don't have to discipline myself. It comes naturally to work and complete. And so I don't have to set an outside of my instincts schedule on myself. I just know that if I choose something, I choose to complete it. I don't just choose to start it, I choose to complete it. So when I was writing my memoir, I probably wrote almost every single day until it was done. But I don't have to, at this point in my life, even set those goals. It just happens. When I choose a project, I know I'm choosing not only to start it, but to keep going until I complete it. And I call myself a completer instead of a procrastinator. A completer is dedicated to their own fulfillment and the help it can give others. A procrastinator is allied with doubt. And so I ally with faith that what I'm creating will help me and maybe one other person, and that's enough. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was great. Joseph asked, how do you know when a project is done?
That's a beautiful question, and I want to say that my mother and I were very, very close throughout my life, and when she passed, I had a lot of trouble knowing when something was done. Because if my mother said, "Oh, that's done, dear," every other person, 8 billion people could have told me it wasn't done, but if my mother said it was done, if I felt it was done, it was done. And for 6 months after she passed, I couldn't have that confidence, that faith in my own, this is done, without her voice. And then I realized, wait, her voice is inside me now. It's there in the limbic core of the brain, in what we call our heart, our spirit. And so I can still ask her, do you think this is done? And I can still hear her answer. And most of the time, she would say things like, in real life, not just in my recollections, in my feelings that remain, that love that remains, that connection that never goes anywhere. But in real life, she would say things like, you know when it's done, dear. And we know. We just have to quiet all those doubters, those detractors, those jealous, threatened, scared people that will pile up on us because they're unhappy. And just let that all go and go to if we're lucky, the one or two or couple people in our lives that only have our best interest at heart, and ask them if they're there or not. And they're inside of us. And I love when I have issues asking my mother, who passed many years ago, and people will say, when I respond after asking my mother inside of myself, wow, you sound just like your mother. And I'm like, well, she's in me. So those people are advocates, and if you don't have one, find one. And there are people that will be there 100% for you without any hidden agenda. And that's the one you should ask for help from. And that's the one you should incorporate inside, so you can, whether you can reach them or not, get their response, you can still ask them, do you think this is done? Okay.
Yep, that's great. And Suzanne is asking, as a new writer, I'm wondering, what kind of obstacles have you had to face along the way in writing your memoir?
Wow. Lots of them. One, as I've shared before, I had a friend who's, when I committed to this project, say, what makes you think you can write a book? You can't even write a sentence, because I was so unacademically exposed. And so, I didn't read a book till I was 21, which I've mentioned before. So I'm, certainly not well educated academically, but I will admit, a good listener. And so I had to face that doubt that though I didn't learn to write, speak, tell stories, the way a lot of writers do by reading, I learned by listening, and that is valid. And one of the people I listened to was myself, and I wrote journals for years, just talking to myself, having someone to talk to. So that gave me a lot of experience and strength. So that was one doubt. Another doubt is, I love being clear. I respect being plain spoken more than having a huge vocabulary. I have a sense of pride in being able to communicate more than impress people with my intellect or the size of my word count. And so I had to accept that that's me, that's what's important to me, and that's good enough. And that we all can only be ourselves. We can't be anyone else. So striving to find your own voice, accept yourself can be very frightening. And then, telling your own stories. I've been blamed for being a victim, and it can be at times hurt as much as being a victim, to be blamed for it by people you thought knew you, trusted you, that understood. That can be very, very painful. And I had to go through a lot of that fear to be honest about having been raped. Like, I should be ashamed that I was raped? No. And we have to let go of the confusion around us. We have to just pass through it, and not let it hold us back from our own clarity. No victim should be ashamed of being victimized. Victimizers, they got their own path to accept, forgive themselves, make amends. That's not my duty. My duty is to love myself no matter what I went through, to not blame myself for having gone through it, and not let anyone who's confused about that confuse me. So that takes a lot of going through doubt and coming out the other side that I have nothing to be ashamed of. And so if telling my story and sharing that can help others face, I had to face my fear and say it would be selfish to get stuck in my fear. It's loving to give that awareness to others, because there are plenty of people that are ashamed of what happened to them and do not speak of it, and what you can't speak of, you can't heal. So heal yourself, forgive the world, forgive others for what they did to you. Don't let that hurt stay in your heart, and know you didn't deserve it. You did nothing wrong, and you're beautiful.
Well, that's I'd say a lovely place to wrap up the questions. You got a few minutes here left on the hour. Do you want another question, or do you want to save those for next live stream?
Let's save that Feels good, good place to leave it. Love yourself. Know you're beautiful no matter what happened to you. It's what you do with what happened to you that defines you, not what happened to you. So use it to grow and help others, and go ahead and, Bo, you can finish it up with contact stuff if you'd like, and then we'll see you Thursday at 11. Please tell your friends.
Yeah, great. Yes, like she said, Thursday at 11 is her next live stream, and you can check her out on the Creativity Show on YouTube. That's up on the screen now. Also, follow her at these other places, scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Her book, Incandescence Rising Above Darkness, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, everywhere you can buy books. I have the QR code on the screen right now for the full color version. I would recommend that. The book is wonderful, amazing, and it comes in a few different versions, including an ebook. You can go to incandescencebook.com to see all the different formats. You can also purchase all of the formats on Amazon. And you can find her art at clarecooley.com/shop. And as she mentioned, she now is going to be selling her stencil design SVG files, scalable vector graphics files, which are now on Etsy. So you can go to the link on the screen here, clarecooleyart.etsy.com, and we'll be putting up a bunch of those. And so, yeah, you can cut those on your stencil cutting machine or laser cutter or whatever. And because they're scalable, they can be scaled to any size, big or small. And they're really high quality files. And then, for any inquiries about creativity coaching, email her at clarecooleycollection@gmail.com. That is also scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and I don't think I missed anything. So then you just do your final thank yous, and I'll leave it to you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for sharing with your friends. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you once again to the National Endowment for the Arts and Minnesota State Arts Board for awarding me a grant to do these live streams, talk about facing my fear, because I got the grants. I'm honor bound to do these, and honestly, I know people are amazed, but I'm actually very shy. I'm a friendly recluse, I call myself. So if I hadn't been awarded the grants, I might not have done these. So thank you to those granting entities and to all the people that support arts and creativity in their community. You're wonderful and greatly appreciated, and I love facing my fear and doubt to bring this out to you. So thanks for being here and for telling others, and see you on Thursday.
And thanks, Sue Spencer, for the comments that just came in. Thank you for being yourself and sharing your stories. Your book is a good read and visually delightful. Yes, you can face your fears and heal. Sue Spencer there.
Thank you so much, Sue. Okay.